So, reason why I brought you all here today, and the reason why I'm doing this, it's been about I guess you could say 4 years, almost 5 years since Street Fighter V released back in February 2016, I think it was. So, I figured, hey, let's do a bit of a sort of a retrospective look on like all the characters that came out when it comes to their post-launch characters. Because like right now, like for those who don't know, if you somehow missed it, the game is free on PS Plus. So you can go right now and download it on PS Plus right now. Get the base characters, the 16 characters. So everybody gets those. But some people may not be, you know, keen or wondering they want, you know, if they want to get all the other like, was it 34 or 24 characters that are DLC now? Yeah, they might not want to put in the money for that, even though it's only like what 25 bucks. You get so much out of it. But anyways, not advertising here. So I figured I'd go through each of the characters that were released in order when they're released or so on. Kind of give my own 2 cents on how it was, like how it was the reaction when they got first announced or first released compared to nowadays, like 4 years later or whatever amount of years the character's been out for. So obviously, uh, we start with Alex, but the thing is, first we gotta go into. I'm gonna also go into a little bit of I guess a bit of a retrospective on how it was the reaction when these characters were coming out. Because first things first, something I noticed, I'm gonna get into this later, when we get to season two. That's compared different about that compared to all the other seasons. Is that in season one, they announced they're gonna do a season pass, but they didn't have all the characters revealed immediately at first. But then a leak came out that gave us the names of who are coming out. And then Capcom was like, "Fuck, well, I guess, well, all right, we'll tell you who's coming." So that's when they showed us the whole list. They didn't show us how they looked, but they showed us who was coming, which was good to hear. And we found out that everyone was gonna be veteran characters, like no brand new people. It was all people who I guess were missing or people we probably would have wanted. So they started with Alex from Street Fighter 3, which was really cool because he hadn't been in a Capcom fighter like playable Capcom fighting game since Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, and in that game he was a beast, very strong character. He has some really cool stuff surprisingly, considering usually big, heavy, like grappler characters tend to not be very good in like versus high action games, but he was actually very good, which is great. Goes to show how good that game was overall. So Alex just, at least in my opinion, a lot of people's opinion, met with like high praise. Like, oh my god, yeah, this character's gonna be great. Comes out, his hair looks like McDonald's fries. No, I wouldn't say more like everyone is here, but it's like they did. If you want to put everyone is here, the best example for that would probably have been Alpha 3 at the time. But that's getting ahead of myself. But so Alex comes out and he's met with it's mixed responses, like mixed opinions when he comes out because it became kind of really obvious pretty early on that he was not very good. He was strong, his damage was high, but overall, it's like the character was not good. Like very slow, very not good frame data. Uh, Once you figure out how he works, it's like incredibly easy to beat him. The only time you're losing to him is online because of the netcode not being good. I mean, it's still not great, but it was worse back then, and people were. This is back when Street Fighter Five didn't have the rage quit like penalty, so people were just like running amok with their 56k modem dial-up connections with this character, and he's just like teleporting everywhere. So overall sense in terms of competitive viability, he was pretty bad. And to this day, he's still considered like kind of bad. Like from what I hear, he's still considered like in the bottom five for overall characters out of the 40 that are in this game. And he kind of stayed there. He's been there since day one, which is kind of funny and sad at the same time because people were so happy for him when they got first revealed. But anywho, so that was Alex. He did some like good improvements as time went on throughout the years. He's got like some pretty good new moves, and I think his newer V skills are pretty good too. I do like his V skill one, which is like they call it, I forgot what it's called, but where he goes, "I'm all warmed up," and then it's based off his taunt from Street Fighter 3, where like it in taunt it gave him like extra power for the next combo or hit. In Street Fighter in SF5, it made it so that his next hit will always be counter hit state, but it gives it a unique phrasing. Instead of being as proper like counter hit or crush counter, it says hard hit. But the properties of it are exactly like crush counter. I don't know if the recent, or I guess later revision they did where they made crush counter damage a little more scaled for in combos. I don't know if hard hit is in the same category as crush counter for that scaling. Someone can if someone was watching and knows the information, let me know. I actually would love to know exactly if that's the case or not. But that's Alex. He ended up being not so good in the end, but it's cool that he's in. It's one of those things where it's like I'm not. It's sad that a character's not great, but it's cool that they're in the game. If that makes any sense. So next after Alex, let me see. Whoa, that's huge. I gotta fix this. That's gonna be a recurring theme, huh? Mr. Guile. Guile, come here. There we go. Guile. Guile. This dude cool. Look, it's Strollheim from JoJo. Anyways. Or Benimaru or Polnareff or whatever you want to call him. Anyways, this dude. It's weird to think about it. The fact that we somehow got a Street Fighter game. Like, Guile not being in the roster is not too uncommon. It's happened a few times. Like, especially in the Alpha series up until Alpha 3. But, because we had Cody. Or not Cody. We had Charlie or Nash to kind of take the same spot more or less. But it's weird that this is a mainline Street Fighter game where Guile was DLC. That is weird. That's crazy to me. Like, in a way, it kind of set like a crazy precedent that like the World Warriors are not like safe. Even they can be DLC. That's funny. But overall, honestly speaking, what's it called? Honestly speaking, this character is like he ended up being great. He ended up being really freaking good. Like day one, we knew he was good. We kind of knew he was pretty good, but the time frame for him in terms of like competitive usability, everyone kind of already settled in their heads of who they like and who they don't like. So at the time in season one, everyone was kind of just like, "Oh, I'm just gonna keep playing Nash and Chun Li and Mika and Ryu and Karin." And I remember back then, everyone thought Ryu was like top 5. I went back and I played some. One time, my update file for Street Fighter 5 actually corrupted, like when I was downloading it. So I had to delete the update data and re-download it. And I was playing season 1 just for the hell of it, just for fun. Um, Looking back, I don't know how we all thought that Ryu was top 5. Honestly speaking, that kicker's mid-tier at best, even at launch. So the fact that he's really bad now is like saying something. But anyways, this is about Guile. So Guile was very good immediately from day one. He was really, really good. Like, in fact, like he could be. Like, it was one of those crazy things where it's like the first time where like he could actually be almost a rushdown character. Not rushdown per se, but like he can control the pace. He can approach while also still maintaining his cool like zoning capabilities. Especially because of the whole like his forward walk and it's like all these little things like his design, his new look. I think it's great. I love his old look, but like that, to me that's a perfect like evolution, like the next step to Guile's look. I liked his one like military suit, like tuxedo look he had in Street Fighter 4 as one of his alternate costumes. But I felt that was a little too like restricting of his arms because one of the big things about him is his big arms and his American tattoo. But then like this one is like no, we're gonna tweak that a little. Perfect. Like was one of those few characters that like design wise, was given an amazing redesign. And obviously they give you their alternates and things like that too. Overall sense, like this character came out good, and he basically stayed good from this to this day. He's still really good now. There's a reason why Daigo like mains this dude and stays with this character. He'll dabble with other characters and then immediately go back to Guile immediately. Like this character's really really good. Well, him maining Guile in a Street Fighter game, it's not uncommon. That's the thing some people don't get is they think he's always been a Ryu dude. Like nah, he's been playing Guile in like Super Turbo and a bunch of other games too. But yeah, they gave him a lot of really nice buffs as time went on. He now has a Sonic Boom where he jumps forward and shoots at you. That's like not only is it a good approach tool and it controls some space in there when in that angle, almost like Goki, which I'll get to him. Yeah, I'll get to him. Don't worry about that. I'll get to Goki when we get to season 2. That's gonna be a long talk, but this character pretty cool. Honestly, Guile was really good, and it's cool that they didn't make him shitty. But forget who came next. I think it was this one. The release dates for certain characters in season 1. Honestly, I don't remember exactly what it was. Hmm. I think they came out at the same time, so I'll start with this one first. So next is Ibuki from Street Fighter 3. Honestly speaking, when this character first got revealed, I was kind of happy about her because I always been like I wouldn't say a big fan of Ibuki, but like never had a problem with her. If that makes any sense. Like she's just a cool character, ninja girl with all the flippy dippies and the mixed up stuff like that. Pretty fun, cool character. But then in the back of my head, I'm like, I don't like this look of her. Even back then, I was like, something about this design that they gave her doesn't sit well with me. And the more I thought about it, I was like, this is stupid for her, for Ibuki. It makes no sense. Her whole gimmick is that she wants to either focus on her ninja stuff, or she wants to separate the ninja training and the high school like schoolgirl stuff. And this game just goes together, and it's like, what? That makes no sense. That doesn't make sense for her character. Even in game, like her dialogue and her win quotes, things like that, still shows that she's trying to separate the two. And yet, this is her design. I don't know. I never liked that. And then obviously, they end up selling DLC of her proper Street Fighter 3 design later on, and like updated it a little bit to look a little bit nicer, which made more sense. Another thing I didn't like about this character, it's been a problem since Street Fighter 4, but like this game had it even more so, is like every single outfit that isn't the default uh doesn't function with like the mask with her. Like she'll either whether she's wearing a mask or not wearing a mask. Hey, she's been doing social distancing before all of us. Anyways, she'll like do win quotes or win animations and taunts and stuff where she's like takes off the mask, but all of those animations don't function or don't actually take off the mask in anything but the default. Same problem happened to Street Fighter 4. But what was funnier in Street Fighter 4 was that most of her alternate costumes in Street Fighter 4 didn't even have a mask at all, so she would just do the animation with nothing to take off. And this one, she'd do the animation, but not take off anything. I don't know, I thought that was weird. Also, in zoom-ins on her face, it looked a little. She had some awkward-looking teeth, but that's a whole other story. Character, gameplay-wise, it's Ibuki. What do you expect? Crazy mix-ups, left, right, up, down. You're gonna get mixed up around. You're gonna get vortex. You're gonna get pissed off. They definitely did her right. And there was a time when her V Trigger 1 with the bomb was like straight up like Marvel style mix ups in a Street Fighter game. You basically couldn't do anything, or you had to guess like the right thing once or you're dead. Then they gave her a V Trigger 2, which was the Fuma Shuriken, which ended up being basically the same thing. It was like a left right mix up. She could just throw at will. Where even when you guessed the right thing, a lot of times you were wrong, or you'd get punished for doing the right thing. It was just crazy. This character state came out, and like even nowadays where she's been like nerfed, she's still really good. It's one of those things where it's like she's like a solid like high tier at worst. But the thing about it is that like because the character isn't because now because of online and people want to be a bit more safe about their character choices, they don't use her as often. Overall, cool character, but let's move on to the next one. And his song is kicking in. That's kind of a funny, ironic thing. Mr. M. Bison, aka Balrog, aka Boxer. This hunking man, hulking beast. First of all, shouts to the fact that his default outfit is based off of his first alternate from Street Fighter 4. That's kind of cool. This character. Uh, what more can I say other than, hey, you want to just go up in there and just punch people in the like, that's all you want to do. You don't really care about what's going on. You just want you just want people. That's all you want to do. There you go. As a character perfect for that kind of thing. Perfect rush down, just beat someone's face in type of character. That's how he always has been. But this game really emphasized on that with how good his buttons are, how hard he hits. There was a time in season 2 when he was like one of the best characters in the game. One of the people, one of the top players, even straight up called the character. I'm not gonna say the word here, but R Tart. It's called the game designers that because of how good this character was. But really cool. It's cool that more characters, more World Warriors, more like SF2 characters are getting brought in. So it's cool that he was in. He came in really early on. His stage is amazing, though you can't really play it online because of stuff. But cool that he's in. Honestly speaking, there's not really much to say about Balrog because he's kind of he's just I mean, it's Balrog. You don't expect. It's not much. You know what I mean? Nothing. He's not. It's like he came out. He does Balrog things. He stayed doing Balrog things. He's still pretty good overall. When we look at it overall, it's just that with the way how the game evolved, it's like he's kind of, I guess, normal. You know what I mean, it's not like some characters overshadow him that kind of do similar things, which I'll get to that with another character later on. But yeah, so it's Balrog. He does what he does. The next character that came out, I think they came out at the same time, or I forget who came out first. I'm completely this because this is season 1. I forget what the timing was for everything. So I know that they both were playable in the story mode at the same time, but who came out first, I don't know. But I'll get to the worst one first for now, just for now. So at some point, I don't know who came first, but Ziri and Urian came out at the same time. So we'll talk about Ziri first because she's the one with much less to talk about. First of all, come on, man. Why they toned? I remember how she looked like in the story mode, and they toned her down in the final thing. Like, whatever. People wanted their big baps. They wanted to see the big baps. And then they covered up the big baps, so it made us all sad. Like the first mod that came out for this character was to get rid of the undershirt. But, anyways, Mike Ross's browser history aside. Let's see. What's it called? Yeah, so Ziri. This is a character that a lot of people were really looking forward to when she first got revealed and was playable for a little while. Yeah, this is toned down. You see the black on her body, like on the thighs and on like the inside the shirt. That wasn't there before. When she first was revealed, that wasn't there. It was skin. Yeah. So it's toned down compared to that. Anyways, so people were excited about this character because she was really, like, out of all the newcomers for Street Fighter 4 and Super Street Fighter 4, she was by far the most popular one, like by a large margin. So everyone was happy to see that Ziri was coming back. And then she was playable. And we're like, oh, this character kind of sucks. And then Infiltration, I think he won like a tournament or something with her at one point, and people were like, "Oh, maybe she's actually really good." And then the rest of us, some people jumped onto the character again because he won a tournament with her, not realizing that it's nothing to do with character. It was him, the player, who was really good that made her work. That's something that a lot of people sometimes tend to mistaken about in a lot of fighting games. Is they'll mistaken the fact that because a character wins in a tournament, that it must mean the character must be good. Not realizing that the player using that character, as well as the situation of who they're going up against, what their mentality is, what their matchups are, things like that, that can change a lot of things. Like, let's put for example a short thing like let's say you're in let's say you're in a Smash Bros tournament and your entire bracket is all like Gandorf players. You can win that tournament with Lil Mac. Yeah, I mean, you can use a bad character against an even worse character because the matchup is in your favor. Yeah, I mean, things like that. So, just short little thing aside. So, Ziri, she had some cool ideas that were similar to what she was in Street Fighter 4, but not nearly as good. Like she still had the whole like short storing up moves and going into special moves things like that. She had it, but it wasn't nearly as fun. Like everything about this character was just worse compared to how she was in Street Fighter 4. And in Street Fighter 4, she was like either she was pretty good or she was okay in terms of like character viability overall. I don't remember how she was by the end of Ultra, but I remember overall everyone just kind of went like, yeah, she's fun, but I'm not gonna play her in a tournament sort of thing. But yeah, character was cool, but unfortunately she's not very good overall. She got a lot of costumes during the time frame of the game's life. Hell, she's getting 2 more from what we've seen in the popularity contest. Unfortunately, one of them is just literally poison. But anyways, yeah, like she got buffs and stuff throughout throughout Street Fighter V's like life, but she's still bad. Like, at least in my opinion, I think this character's still awful overall sense. But what are you gonna do? You all bought her anyways. Next up is Urian. Yeah. This dude. First of all, oh my god, I love this look they gave for him for his default. And I also adore. I think it's so cool that he was the first character to have like costume like Easter eggs. What is this? Oh, okay. 1 second. Yo, let's go. Sagat. Let's go, Bob Saget. I gotta fix some. Sorry, I'm having some issues. So sorry. Yeah. Okay, so just have to fix some things up. Where is it? All right, so Urian, this character, I love the look that he has, and I love the fact that like, he has like like the what do you call it? He has the Easter egg thing where if you hold certain buttons and then he like takes off the suit and it becomes like the lion cloth look he had from Street Fighter 3. Like that to me, that's so cool. And like I think every single costume he has in the game, if you do that code, I think he has an alternate look for that too. I think. Don't quote me on this. I know some of them do, some of them don't. Some of them is just do the usual like hold up, light kick, all 3 punches, and then you get the other alternate like costume code thing they have for nearly every single outfit nowadays. But he was one to start this. And I remember back when he first like was playable in the story mode, and people started modding him in to be able to play him in like training mode to like mess around with the character. People made a mod, or they modded it in, but we didn't know that it was a mod. We just thought that was just an effect that the character had. Was that if he did his super, the clothes would tear off, and we were like, oh my god, that's so cool. So yeah, that was cool. That was this character was hype when we got like announced and shown and everything. And immediately we knew he was good. Like, oh, he was good. Urian was good. Aegis Reflector is to this day still like one of the best feat triggers in the game. Like, it's completely Rob's games without question. He came out almost immediately amazing. His V skill was kind of when he first came out, his first one. It gives like armor to like one special after he does it, and it takes a long time to start up. But he got his V skill too, which makes his fireball stronger. So problem solved. and his zoning game is already one of the best in the game. The fact that he can like shoot both forward and upwards and control space and combo off of those hits, it's like, oh my god, I will say though, this character is the poster child in Street Fighter V, the poster child of fake execution. Like, he gives off the impression that he's like the super technical, hard to use character. And I'm gonna be completely real with you. Nearly everybody who uses Urian, and I'm sure there's some who aren't, but most of the people who use this character, monkeys. They have no clue what they're doing. They just do stuff and it just works. Especially online with the jittering and the dial-up connections and stuff. Like, you're not blocking EX charge tackle while it's teleporting. You're not blocking that ever. He's gonna hit you with that, and you're just gonna die. You're not gonna be able to punish it in time because like you'll see like the last frame before it hits you. You may block it, and then you're like, I can't punish. My buttons don't come out. But anyways, character ended up. He came out good. He stayed good. He's still really good to this day, which is good because if you're gonna get the Champion Edition upgrade kit for like $25 or so, you get this guy among a lot of other things too. So yeah, that's Urian, and that was the end of season 1. Now we're gonna start season 2. First who came out. Oh wow, what the hell is that? That's way too small. Goki. Now, first of all, I gotta say one thing about Goki is that when this character was first, like when Street Fighter V first came out and everyone was seeing all the characters and stuff, we kind of knew there was gonna be in our season and stuff, obviously, because to go into some history about this game, this character like was both like the bastion of hope until like everything else was like the crumbling, like all that hope like broke after this character. I'll get to that a little bit. So Street Fighter V came out and a lot of people were enjoying it, but we also had a lot of gripes with the game overall in terms of some things like lack of content for things here and there, little things in terms of the mechanics we think should have been fixed or a little bit better. We had a lot of little issues here and there, and we were looking at season 2 as like the big balance patch for it. We were looking at season 2 as like, hey, they're gonna fix a lot of these issues, like these. They're gonna keep what's good, and then they're gonna fix the actual problems and like make everything better. Cause that's what it looked like. Because during season 1, there was a lot of like little like issues that got like there were patches here and there that fixed a lot of the things we were having issues with, or a lot of our problems. So we were thinking, hey, the next big update is gonna do even more of that. You know what I mean? That's what we were thinking in our heads. You know, being hopeful and shit. Then season 2 starts getting fully revealed, and first thing from the first is when they first revealed this guy's trailer, they didn't even tell us it was Goki at first. They just showed us like this part of his like Shungoku Satsu, but we seen the long hair and stuff like that, and we're like, what the hell? And then Ono tried to be all like, oh, it may not actually be Goki, even though we all know it's Goki. And then so he gets revealed, and some people start like modding him into the game to play him early, and immediately we're like, wow, this character's super fun, he's super good. He's got a lot of weird stuff, but like overall this character's really fun, really cool. Some buttons of his seemed bad at first, because like it just looked different compared to what we're used to. Some people immediately were like saying this character's terrible because he couldn't do jump back air fireball. I'm like, okay. But anyways, yeah, statements that age poorly, but so we seen this and we're thinking, okay, season 2 might be in good hands because one of the characters we really wanted in season 1 or even in base roster was Goki. So seeing him back immediately was like, yes, alright, they're listening to the fans. Yes, might get more characters. Let's get Makoto. Let's get Sakura. Let's get Sagat. Let's get Honda. Let's get all these art characters. Let's get maybe even Evil Ryu. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, like, that's what people are saying. And then, so he comes out as well as the balance patch, and in that balance patch made a lot of changes to the game, to the structure of the game. The first thing we noticed was they took out most of the invulnerability on rising dragon punches like Shoryukens, DPs, moves like that. They took out a lot of the invul on that on startup, especially for like the non-EX versions. And that was not a good choice. That was not a good choice at all. Because the whole point of like when you do a Shoryuken, like especially on Wake Up or things like that, or stuff like that, is it's supposed to be like that, like Hail Mary, super big, like risk reward type of thing. But the thing about it was that in Street Fighter Five is that Street Fighter Five has a mechanic where if you do a move like a Shoryuken, at least most Shoryuken-like moves, uh, if it gets blocked or whiffed, you're put into a counter hit state, which also means crush counter. And it was good, especially if like when back then in season one, the medium Shoryuken was like the main like invulnerable one besides the EX. The EX was better, but like the medium was like the next best step, the next best one. In most cases, like you use like light for like simple anti-airing, use medium as like your reversal invul one, and use heavy for like your damage, like on my face, Shoryuken. That's what you did. Yeah, you have to dance. It's Rashido. All right. Anyway, so that's what the main like design aspect of Shoryukens was back then. Then they decide to take out the invul for the non-metered ones, or at least most of the invul to make it like not as good. I think the invul now is like on frame 3 or 4. It used to be frame 1. Kind of funny how Smash Ultimate went on to copy this, but anyways, that's a whole nother story. Uh, so that was bad. But then they also kept the whole like counter hit thing, the crush counter hit thing with those Shoryukens, despite the invol being taken away and the risk reward part being taken away. So there were times where like your only option for like say you want to like get out of like certain frame traps, or maybe you want to like anti-air people and their best option is Shoryuken or things like that, you could be punished way more than necessary because you did that and it ended up being blocked or it whiffed or it didn't come out in time or blah 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 blah. While other characters have moves similar to a Shoryuken, but don't have the crush counter like aspect to it when it's blocked or whiffed. Like Ibuki's like rising kick with the non-EX version that doesn't have that. Zeku, Sakura, a bunch of our characters, they have like a Shoryuken like attack, more or less, but they don't have they don't get counter hit for getting it blocked or whiffed. Which like where's the consistency here? That's in my opinion on it. Either all of them have it, or make it all universal where it's only the EX version is like has the issue. Yeah, I mean that has the crush counter thing. But that was season 2, and then season 2 did a lot of other bad things. Like that was looked at as like the dark times for Street Fighter 5. Like overall sense, like no one looks at. I don't think anybody looks back at season 2 fondly. And funny that I'm saying all this stuff about season 2, I didn't even get to the character of Goki himself. He was very good. Some people thought that he was going to be bad at first when we first started playing him for the first little while, mostly because of the Shoryuken changes. We were blinded by like the season 2 changes and not seeing the character himself and seeing how good he was. But some of us knew he was good. Like, oh my god. You think this character is amazing now? Because here's the thing, this character came out, he came out top 3 at worst. And he's been top 5 at worst ever since. They keep nerfing this guy nearly every single patch, and he's still top 5 at worst. Let's put it that way. That's how good Goki is. That's how good this character is. And one of the big things that keeps him being so good is that he just has options and ways to convert damage off of different situations. Like he's so complete. Even when you nerf him, Unless you completely gut the character, he's always going to be good because he can always do things. Whether he has meter, whether he doesn't have meter, whether he has V trigger, whether he doesn't have V trigger, whether he has V skill, whether he doesn't. He has so many options. Let alone the fact that his proper like kit is so good. He's one of the best anti-airs in the entire game. Not to mention that anti-air can convert into additional damage and combos, and among many other things. He has one of the best Shoryukens in the game. He has the best Tatsu in the game, and I can combo off of it. He has this demon flip, dive kick stuff with like freaking four different options. No, like 4 or 5 different options to come out of that demon flip. Like for between the palm that's an overhead that does really good damage and is basically safe. He has the dive kick to like mix up his approach and do combos off of that. He's got the command grab that grabs you and throws you. He has air fireball. He has EX. No, he has 5 options. He has EX Tatsumaki. He has Zanku Kyaku as well. Like this character has so much. Let alone if you just do demon flip and don't do anything, he does a low sweep and into good Oki. It's like this character is amazing, and he's been amazing. It's rare that a version of Goki is in a fighting game and he's not amazing. Let's put it that way. People were surprised about this. Remember back when he used to be able to do, when he used to be able to whiff shotgunettes and then cancel into V trigger one, like without even like actually like throwing it out. You just hear, and then that would be it. That'd be it. He just does it immediately. I remember every single time a patch came out for Street Fighter Five, every single one of us who play Goki would start up training mode, backdash, shotgunettes, and we test that every single task just to make sure that it was still in the game. They only recently finally got rid of that. Let's put it that way. Only recently has that finally been taken out because it was just that good to have that. And yeah, he's still amazing. But this character, like, it's one of those characters that he'll stay amazing. Much like Karin, he's another character that like one thing that makes Karin so good compared to say like Cammy or a bunch of other characters that like she has so many options, regardless if you have meter or don't. And when you have meter, even better. Let alone if you have V trigger or don't have V trigger and things like that. Like they're already a complete character, and then they become even better when they have resources. It's like, yeah, of course they're gonna be freaking top tier in this game. Of course they're gonna be amazing. So we went from something this friggin' hype to the next character in season 2. Where is it? Went to. Wow, what the hell? These are all small now. Anyways, this was the next character, Colleen. And the funny thing about it is that, like, at first, I mean, 2 things first. One, we were kind of happy about the fact that she was being playable because she's from Street Fighter 3. Technically speaking, she's from Street Fighter 3. She was Guile's like assistant or secretary person. So we were kind of happy about that. It's like, hey, more Street Fighter 3 characters. That's kind of cool. And let's be real with ourselves. We all got bamboozled and totally hyped up because of that trailer for her. Because that trailer had that Lupe Fiasco song that was like super bumping and funky as hell. And we thought that that was going to be her theme in the game. We're like, oh my god, we're going to while fighting the game. It's so cool. But it ended up not being the case. But the idea of her like moveset and how she works and everything was really cool. She's still a pretty cool character even to this day. I personally think she's kind of boring, but I know most of the people who tend to pick her tend to be online players only. They don't play her offline, which I find that kind of weird. Makes me think like maybe this character is actually not great and only good online. Those kind of things. Those things do exist, by the way. Some characters get like better with input delay and lag and stuff like that compared to when you play them offline. It's just a thing. People have been doing this since CVS2 on the Xbox. People will abuse bullshit online. But anyways, whole nother story. Colleen, cool character. No pun intended, because she has ice powers and shit. But it was cool that the character was put into the game. It was nice that we got to see more Street Fighter 3 representation. She ended up getting a lot of really cool like additions as time went on, like more newer moves and little changes here and there. It's really sweet that like she has her own unique like stun thing where like if you active when she's in V trigger mode and she starts hitting your moves and your stun meter starts going up, instead of being stunned, you're frozen, which is kind of I think that's I always like character specific unique mechanics like that in games. So like that's pretty cool that's a thing. Uh, Overall, like, she's pretty cool, like a high low left right Rekka character. She's got like a parry counter move that's like super strong when it hits. Like, yeah, she's a pretty cool character overall. I keep saying cool. She's pretty sweet. Yeah, it's nice that she was in the game, like more or less. Like it was, we were kind of like about like the fact that like we wanted more like veteran characters, and this kind of was yes and no. Like she is a veteran and not at the same time, kind of thing. So it's like it's kind of cool. Then the next character came out. Oh, well, what the hell? Yes, Bison statue is the next character. All right, fellas, ladies, and everything in between. Are we ready to admit to ourselves that Ed sucks? Like this character as a release, playing him, how he works, how he looks. Are we ready to admit to ourselves that this character is stupid? Are you? I've been ready to admit it for a long time. I've been ready for it. His song is dumb. I don't get why he has a Nero costume. Why it has Yamato floating the entire time and distracting me. But anyways, that's the whole other thing. But this character is dumb. I like the idea. I'll say one thing. I liked that they tried to do something unique with how his moveset works. That I won't fault them for. Like they tried something new. They wanted to do something a little bit different. This character, not just make him like a Dudley or a Balrog clone. They want to do something different with like a boxing psycho power character. You know, they want to do something different. But the execution, in my opinion, is not great. Overall, I think this character is always not great. The only reason people lose to this character is because of online being bullshit or matchup inexperience. And matchup inexperience happens because nobody picks this character for a reason because he's not good. The only time he was great was when he had a fro loop during like season 1, season 2, season 3. But then that got fixed. So, but yeah, this character, at least in my opinion, is not great. I admit that I would have liked. I liked what they wanted to do. Storyline wise, I liked what they did with him. I liked his story thing, especially when it had like Balrog actually show emotion for once. Especially in the English voice, the way how he's like, "Just get out here or shut up," or something like that. I forget the exact words, but that was kind of cool. But the character himself, I don't know. If you ask me, I think he was a waste. He was wasted potential, and he was kind of once again in that like continuing that what is that word? Continuing the trend of season 2 being con- uh, constant disappointments. If that makes sense, if they want to put it that way. And yeah, because that's one thing also about season 2. I wanted to get to this back when season 1, but I want to get to now. Now I'm in season 2, I can get to this. Something about season 2 that pissed people off back then was the fact that like characters in season 2 were not like we weren't told who was coming immediately. There was a leak that came out that later on that told us who was coming, but we didn't know we didn't know exactly who was coming like officially. Capcom themselves didn't tell us who was coming, so we would just be told, "Hey, a character reveal is gonna happen at some point." Then this character would be shown. What the fuck? You know what I mean? No veterans, no veterans, no veterans. We want our. Everyone's like, we want our Sakura, we want our Sagat, we want our blah blah blah. You know what I mean? And then we keep on getting this stuff. These like newcomers that we don't know much about or we don't like or don't want to deal with. Things like that. You know what I mean? So this character once again was another example of that. We're like, who the fuck is Ed? You know what I mean? Like why is this character in this game? But that was child's play compared to the next one. This is when shit hit the fan. Vroom, vroom. Yeah, this was the big one. The big one. This is the one where everyone was pissed. Either we were either pissed off or we were laughing hard. And the funny thing about it is that, like, if you ask me, personally speaking, I think it was just it was a choice of timing. The problem with Abigail was timing of when he was shown. You have to remember, when Abigail was revealed, was during a time when everyone was already not really looking at Street Fighter V in like the most like positive of lights, because season 2 was terrible. On top of that, everybody else in the fighting game sphere, like in terms of like the other like games coming out, was just blowing loads on us, like fucking Jubei and Central Fiction, Blaze Blue Cross Tag. Oh my god, this game looks cool. We have all the characters together. That aged poorly. Oh my god, Geese is in Tekken. Oh my god, fighting EX Lair. We got the April Fool's game is actually real. Oh my god, this fucking. I mean, all these Dragon Ball and Trunks look so good. And then Street Fighter V is like, we have Abigail during Evo. Like, what the hell? That's not something you show at Evo. But the thing about it is that, like, I can't deny, character-wise, it's cool that he was in. I love Final Fight. It was cool that we got in our Final Fight character into this game. And then, like, Abigail of all characters, we got our first Canadian dude. Fucking Canada! Canada! Fuck. Canada! Maple Leafs! Yeah! This guy is, like, ridiculously Canadian. He's got a move called the Ontario Drop. He has a maple leaf as a mohawk. He loves cars and works with the auto stuff. It was a joke amongst me and some people I knew and some friends and stuff that, like, we're saying this dude's from Windsor, Ontario, because like Windsor is like crazy when it comes to the auto industry, especially these days and stuff. And then it's across the stage is right next to an ocean across the border to the states. So the joke is that the Statue of Liberty is actually from the states, as you see it across the street, across the pond. He's on the riverside right now, things like that. Like, it's just, and then like the way he acts and his appearance, stuff like that. Yeah, it's a bit weird, but like it's fun. It's fun. It's funny. It's cool. And his moveset, it's like it makes sense. He's a big bruiser, like beats your face guy, but he's also a grappler at the same time. Like, he's got some like scary stuff. His character is fun. He was really cool. The problem was that when he was revealed was not a good time. If anything, the next character that got revealed should have swapped places with him. These two should. The next one should have been revealed at Evo, and this one should have been the next one. If you look at from how I look at things, because the next one for season 2 was the lightning in the bottle, and we're gonna get to that one. Like one of those few characters for Street Fighter 5 that was like, oof, this character. Like, I'm not someone who gets into like I'm not like a waifu person or anything like that. Really, I have quite a few like female characters I really like. Karin being one of them, and like Yuri Sakazaki and stuff. But like, ooh boy, talk about like when they say that idea of like a broken clock is correct twice a day or once a day or something like that. That was a Minot in terms of that. Like, when you look at season 2 as a whole, everyone looking at it like, oh, we don't like season 2, and then this happens, and we're like, like we all were captivated by Minot. Like everything about her is oozes personality. Her animations are like some of the best in the whole franchise. They just show like so much like you can see so much character with her, and her moveset being really like unique and cool. It's like a unique take on like a Zoner-esque Rose clone. Not really clone per se, because she's a student from her, but like similar type of ideas. She's got to reflect. She's got air grab, soul fro and things like that, but like you see so much like personality and character from this one. It's like somebody was having fun when they made this character. They were having fun. They were doing their work, and they were like, that there was more budget put into this character compared to others. In a way, you could say that. Like you look at her, and then you look at Colleen, like how much nicer, and just this season alone, how much nicer she is in comparison to Colleen. When we look at it that way, like there were people, I forget if it was Vine or TikTok or another like app. Like there were people who were not even like gamers. They're just random like I could just say call them like normies, like non Street Fighter fans. Were looking at this character and like being like falling in love with how she is, especially her walk and like her walking animation, her like back walk animation, like her stepping away animation, and they're just like they love this character, like everything about her, like visually and how she represents and how she works. Even the fact that like when she gets the soul throw, she doesn't catch you and just kind of puts you down easily like Rose does. No, she catches you and she's like struggling under the weight of like because she's not as physically strong as Rose. She's like and throws you off, and it's just like and you can see the relief on her face and her body like language when she throws you off. It's like what the hell, man? And then her super animation. Ooh, I know you all put that shit in slow motion and you looked at that for hours. I didn't, but I know you guys did. I know you guys did. Don't fucking lie to me. So, Minot was great. Like her theme is all right. I don't remember much about her theme per se, but like everything else about her is great. Her moveset's great. She came out really good and stayed really good. Let's put it that way. I don't know where she is now per se, but like this is a character that like you can never sleep on her. I don't know someone else. Anyway, you can never be like, oh, I'm fighting him and not. It's free. No, this matchup is never free because she can take control of the whole match, or you have to struggle to win that fight. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like she was strong. She's really, really good. She stayed really good, and she got a lot of really cool mechanics and a lot of cool, super long like cutscene. Let me pull out my popcorn and sit back. What is this? Marvel kind of combos. Like that's how long some of them can be if the person has high execution. And that's another thing about this game. A lot of people shat on Street Fighter Five and being all like, "Oh, this game is so easy, low execution fighter, blah 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 blah," and then they go on to praise other games like Guilty Gear, Strive, and Grand Blue, and Brave Blue Cross Tag, and so on for being easy to play. Where's your consistency, guys? Or is it only okay when Capcom is not doing it? Anyways, Minot was cool, and she was also a super high execution character. So it's like two things in one. So you can't just willy nilly think you're good. Like you gotta put in the work to make her really good, and that was really cool. And the next character, in my opinion, I was pretty happy about this next character, but I know some people were kind of indifferent to him. But he had a cool ass mechanic, and that was Seku. I was once again another Final Fight character. Seems to be a reoccurring thing. Uh, it was basically Guy's master. And what was really cool was that, like, if you know Final Fight lore, you have seen him in a few endings and stuff like that. He was in Final Fight 2. He was in one of Guy's endings, I think in Alpha 1 or 2, things like that. Like, he's been there, but now he's finally playable. And what was cool is that like they also incorporated this like Strider Hiryu thing to him, where like he might be the original Strider in terms of like timeline lore stuff, which is really cool to me. But like he's got like two different move sets. It's kind of got that Gen thing going on where you get like two stances and stuff. And then on top of that, like just visually and how he's personality wise, really cool character. Like I love that. Like you look at him, you think he's some like super serious dude, but in reality, he's like such a chill, fun guy. And then, some of the most wholesome artwork I've seen when it comes to like fan art. Some of the most wholesome fan art is people pairing this guy with Laura. I don't know why that pairing is so nice. For some reason, I don't know why it's so nice. Like they fit so good together. for some reason. But yeah, Zeku was really cool. It's like a mix of like Guy and Strider and stuff put together into one. And then he's one of those characters that like came out, he was pretty damn good, and then he got better. And like nowadays he's like really really good. But he's another character you can't sleep on. You can't like be like, oh, it's a Zeku, I'm gonna just this is free. No, he's really good. Especially nowadays with his new his V skill 2 with the dogs and the bird and stuff. Like, oh, what the hell? Marvel assists? Come on, this character is so good. He got a lot of cool stuff about him. He's a really fun character, and his theme is amazing, and it's such a nice like ending to season 2. Much like how it started with Goki making us really happy, season 2 ended with us being like pretty satisfied in the end. The middle of it was terrible, but then like Minot and Zeku kind of showed like, hey, maybe there is something, maybe there is some hope here. And hope we definitely got. I can't. I know I didn't say much about Zeku really. I didn't play this character very much at all. I thought he was cool, but I barely touched him. Not many people actually play him too, unfortunately, because he might be harder to play than most maybe. But yeah, season 2 ended with this character, and then season 3. This is when we. Oh hell yeah! Yo, I want to become famous. Buy followers, primes, and views on bigfollows.com? Hell yeah! I am famous! Oh, I'm the hero! For all like 0 of you who know what I'm referencing right there. Anyways, wow, that's weird. Okay, so Season 3, Champion Edition. Not Champion, Arcade Edition. This was... Wow, this image is huge. This was the redemption arc of Street Fighter V. Everyone was happy. Almost everyone was happy during this. Let's put it this way. I say everyone because I know there's people who are just going to shit on this game no matter what. Let's put it this way. Everyone who actually was following this game, who actually was playing this game, who gave a shit about like Street Fighter and Capcom fighters, this is when we were getting happy again. When Sakura got revealed, as well as the entirety of Season 3 of Arcade Edition. Let alone the character additions, let alone, like, there's all, like, in general. This was, like, people look at Arcade Edition as, like, this is the Street Fighter 5 we should have gotten from day one, in terms of, like, the content that's in it. The arcade mode stuff that was added, it's, like, so robust and like it's always constantly expanding because whenever new characters get added, and there's like I think 5 or 6 different like routes and stuff you can do, and there's little secrets inside the routes. It's like it's so good, very nice. But yeah, so one thing about once again something that Season 3 did that Season 2 did not do, that Season 1 also did, and Season 5 did to an extent. 4, we're gonna get into 4 later. That was a weird situation, but Season 3 was like, hey yo. Season 5 was like, no, Season 3 was like, hey yo, we're gonna show you all the characters who are coming out immediately. But then they came out 1 at a time or 2 at a time later on. But I'm saying they showed you who they were and how they look like immediately, and that generated the hype. I remember everyone was so happy watching the when they showed the cinematic trailer or the cinematic intro, and it was like they showed us the Sakura trailer on its own. We're like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then at first they were like hiding the characters of who was coming. We're like, oh no, Season 2 again. And you're like, one more thing, and they show us the cinematic opening for Street Fighter 5, and it was kind of like it was like kind of like a cap off, like it was like a way of like summarizing the previous seasons, and then moving on to the next generation in a way. And in that case, it started showing all the characters that were coming, so it counted as both like a cool trailer, as well as being like reveal trailer at the same time, like revealing the characters too, which was so cool to us. So we see Sakura, like, yeah, we just seen her. Then we see Blanca, we're like, oh my god, he's back. And then we seen this new guy G, and we're like, we didn't know who it was yet. We just see this new guy, like, who's this guy? He looks kind of cool. Then we see Cody, and we're like, oh my god. Then we see this. What else was in? Oh, Falk. I'm gonna get to her. There's a reason why I forgot about her. But so we see Falk, and we're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Then we seen Cody, and we're like, oh my god, he's all like spiffy and fucking. He has got a watch, and he's all like he's prettied up. He's not like a jail guy anymore. And then they showed G, and we're like, oh, that's kind of cool. This guy looks weird, but it's kind of cool. And then they showed Sagat, and everyone, we were all so happy because that was one of those big characters we really wanted to come back. That's what everything about Street Fighter 5 Arcade Edition was showing to us, was that they were going out of their. It seemed like they're going out of their way to like finally satisfy the fans. They were doing something for the fans. They're redeeming themselves for the screw ups they've been doing for a while. That's what it looked like to us. For the most part, it was. So Sakura comes out, and she's pretty fun. She ended up being pretty fun. She's not. She came out not great, like not the most amazing character. Like a lot of people who are interested in playing her were kind of like, yeah, I might play her. But then we're kind of like, let's go back to Goki, kind of thing. That's like those of us who want like a new Shoto character to play. We're like, oh, this character's kind of fun. But then we ended up just going back to Goki because he was just better. He stayed better, but she was just a little bit below that. Like just, at least in my opinion, she was the second best Shoto at the time. Right now, currently, I'd say maybe third best, but we'll get to the second best later. But anyways, so we're kind of happy with this character. She's pretty fun. It's pretty cool. A lot of personality for actions and movements and stuff. It was cool that they finally grew her up. Like they aged her up finally. That was cool to us because she's been a high school girl ever since, like from the beginning. Even in Street Fighter 4, which took place timeline wise later, she looked the same as she was in Alpha, which is weird to us. So it was cool that they finally made her like older. In addition to like the fact that her new look is like a good, like much like Karine was a really nice like adaptation or like improvements of like it's showing a little bit of the old look to it, but like redesigning it to be like you can tell a time has passed. That's what I liked about it a lot. Even her gloves, they're not the old like the crappy gloves. It's straight up like the Ryu gloves, or her headband is now red like Ryu, and she really wants that Ryu D. She wants that DP. Yeah, that's something in her story was kind of funny, but yeah. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff about this character. She got a lot of like, she incorporates a lot of like little cool things here and there about how like her moveset is. V skill wise, I think her V skill 1 is still just better than her second one, but granted, I don't play this character very much at all anymore, other than like casuals for fun. But like competitively, if you're not Karine or Goki, I don't care shit. But yeah, so this character was cool. It's really fun. It was a good step forward, making us believe that things were gonna be good again, and they more or less stayed mostly good. And then the next dude, wow, it's really small. Blanca returns, and I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm not gonna have much to say about this character because I mean it's Blanca. He does Blanca things. He's got an updated look to him. We thought he was gonna be a more like feral character because the way how he looks. We're gonna go back to like Street Fighter 2 days where it's like he's more like the Beast Man thing. But then it ended up kind of being a red herring. He's mostly a joke, especially in story. And then they gave him that alternate costume where like he's like the Blanca-chan thing, the plushie look. Everyone was picking that costume if they unlocked it. So, yeah. Overall, I mean, it's Blanca doing Blanca things, and now he has the command grab. So, like, good luck reacting to that online with input delay. But other than that, it's Blanca. It's Blanca doing Blanca things. I can't really say much because I don't have I like Street Fighter 2, but I don't give a shit about Blanca. Let's put it that way. That's a character I never cared much for. He's part of the originals, and that's it. I don't like fighting him, but that's all I can say. But Blanca fans and Blanca players were obviously happy. Like Wooly, for example, fellow Canadian man. Next character, Falk. Character who is, in terms of storyline, related also to Ed from earlier. Design, I like how she looks. A lot of her costumes, I also like a lot of her costumes. Looks like a very nice design character. Something that people can never, like, something that you can never take away from Street Fighter and King of Fighters, like SNK as well. They do some rock solid character designs. Like they do some really good character designs. Like you can see, you can tell exactly what kind of character these people are just from looking at them. Let alone, they have like very good silhouette. Like you can tell who it is from far away. Uh, I mean, like you kind of get a feel of what their character is, what they're about, just from a glance. You can tell from her she's a very calculated, but also kind of sly and coy type of character. And she stays from afar and uses her distance to kind of like screw a few things like that. And that's exactly how she is. She's a zoner character, using her staff as like a distance tool, and she's got a lot of like really weird mix-up tools as well, with like her like the weird hop thing and being able to shoot you from low and above and things like that. It's kind of cool. The idea of her moveset, I think, is really cool. My problem with her was overall, like the way how they made it, like how they showcase it presentation wise, incredibly boring. She has the most boring and dumbest looking super in the whole game. Her what's it called? Her functions, like how her moves work, the move set wise, it's so like weird. They tried to do something weird again, like what they did with Ed, and once again it didn't work well, at least in my opinion. Oh, speaking of Ed, here comes his stupid song. Should I just skip this? You want me to skip the song? Or should I keep it? I don't know. You want me to skip the song? I don't give a shit. I'll do whatever you guys want. What the fuck is this? Okay, it's mixed up. Okay, do you guys want me to like skip the song or keep it? I personally don't care. Fucking Eminem ass. Anyways, fuck this game. Alright, I'll wait for someone to tell me if they want me to skip the song or not. Anyways, yeah, fuck this song. Alright, I'm going. I hate my life. Alright, so what's it called? So yeah, Falk ended up being a kind of like weird and kind of boring character overall, but I get what they were trying to go with. Let's put it that way. I get what they're trying to do. But it ended up being execution wise, it was kind of looked as like the filler arc before the next character reveal. That's all we were really looking forward to. Like we kind of looked at this character as like, we don't really care. Where's the next guy? And then we got him. Yeah, buddy. Look at this dude. Look at this suave ass. Look at this guy. Look at this cleanup. Look at how much of a glow up this guy got from how he was back in like Street Fighter Alpha when he got sent to jail. Look at this dude. That's Cody, man. That's cool. I'll be honest. I never played this character very much, like in terms of like Street Fighter as a whole. I was more of a guy person always, but I know he's got a big fan base, and he's a cool ass character, and people played the hell out of him in Street Fighter 4. So yeah, Cody. Yeah, he was added to Street Fighter 5, and he got a big glow up in his appearance and storyline wise. He became the mayor of Metro City, man. Hagar stepped down and gave it to him. He broke him out of jail. He got him released from jail, and became like the new mayor, and that's really cool. And what's it called? Moveset wise, he more or less was very similar to, in a way, similar to how he was before. But like they also adapted some new aspects to him too. Like they made his projectile not being like the stupid rocks. Now it's like a tornado throw, and it's like things like that. I think Criminal Upper was taken out at some point. I forget exactly. I forget. It's been a while since I played this guy, but it's cool. I think it's really cool is that his V skill is like the twirl, the super joy from like the actual games when you press like your attack and jump and it goes to this little or what when you do like the spin thing. He had that, and it even takes like gray life, so like it takes away health, but you can regain it back. It doesn't like you don't take damage, but like it gray lifes it. So it's a reference to the fact that the super joy uses health. Like the little things like that is cool to me. I don't know. But moveset wise, yeah, he had a lot of really cool stuff. He ended up being pretty decent overall. I think one of the main problems, at least in my opinion, is the fact that like V Trigger 2, the one with the pipe, completely like overshadows the knife. There's like no reason to pick the knife when you have this pipe, because the pipe is like longer range, better damage, a command grab that leads into a crazy high damage move and a wall bounce, and he has the baseball bat rock move that leads into left right high low mix ups, and it can also block back projectiles, and you can wing swing boom, and the knife is just I have better damage, and I can throw it. Yeah, I mean it's kind of in comparison, a little bit better range than like doing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think pipe is better than knife. You can debate about it in the comments if you want, or in the text in chat. I don't care. But what's it called? What is kind of funny to me is that like Cody has like an auto combo, which is it's a reference to like how he was in Final Fight. But before it used to be like a proper like string in other games. In this game, it's like just light, and I'm like, hey, BB tag players, use your character. So like that character, he's fun. Overall he's pretty fun. I didn't play him very much, but he's a pretty fun character overall. It's cool that he's brought back. And then, ooh boy, power to the ass. The president of the world joined Street Fighter 5. G. This is a character that we were all like thrown completely off guard. Keep in mind that him and the next character Sagat, they both got revealed the same, like officially revealed for playableness, same time. And all of us were all happy and excited for Sagat because of Sagat. But the real thing is that this was the real showstopper. Like once again, much like Minot, another lightning in a bottle, amazing character. Like wow. Like he came out immediately powerful. He oozes personality. He's got a unique mechanic about him. He takes form of something similar to like how Q was in Street Fighter 3. Because it's been like it's kind of hinted that this guy might be Q in the future, like from it's how he was before he became Q. That's the rumory like hint is right now currently in terms of storyline stuff. But in terms of like what's it called, like moveset wise, oh my god, this character is really really good. He's like, this character robs games. That's how good this character is. Activate V trigger. Well, guess I'll die now. Yeah, I mean, like, that's how good this character is. He's super super fun. He's super powerful. Hits like a truck. He controls the space a lot. He can get combos off of his command grab. Like, what the hell, man? Most people can't do that. This guy does, and his command grab has good range. He even has one of the best moves ever in the game. Like, in terms of just hilarity. If you just stand still, I think it's for like 60 seconds, like completely still, and the opponent is next to you, he just does like a big pose, and then does like 600 damage, which is more than most. I don't think there's a single super in the game that does that much damage. So off one hit, just that's hilarious to me. Like, they just threw in fun stuff like that for this character. He has like what's funny is that people don't seem to like ever use it, but like he can also like gain meter on his own too, kind of like Mika, where like he can like say a speech, fucking like write a promo on you, pop a promo on you, and like he's gaining meter, and then he can cut himself off and go. It's kind of, I think that's cool. On top of the fact that he does the one earth and gets stronger. And, you know, obviously in Japanese he says power of the ass. Just like extra cherry on top. Speaking of Ryu, here's his eternal rival. The next character, Sagat. This is a character that a lot of us were like really excited for when he was coming out. We were like, oh my god, Sagat. And we're like, oh my god, Sagat, he's back. Oh my god. Everyone was so like excited for this character. He was one of those big fan favorites. And what's funny is that like he's still kind of cool. I love his new look. Like adapting him for time. I love this look for him. Granted, on the few occasions I used him, I picked his Street Fighter 1 outfit because it's hilarious. Because he'll literally say "You got a lot to learn before you beat me. Try again, kid." That's his win quote. That's hilarious. But yeah, his character's pretty cool. Probably one of the better zoners in the game. But the problem about it is that like overall he's still kind of boring in terms of like what he can or can't do. It's like in other Street Fighter games, he kind of was a little bit more, like I guess you could say, hype or a little bit more active in the game. And this is more or less just tiger shot, tiger shot, tiger shot, tiger shot, tiger up. Oh, you're jumping at me? Tiger uppercut, tiger shot, light kick, stand medium kick, tiger shot, light kick, tiger shot, tiger uppercut. It's kind of boring, honestly speaking. It's a pretty boring character overall. And I know you could boil down a lot of our kickers in that same sort of way too. But like this character was like the biggest example of that. But this way, Sajam made a tutorial guide on how to play this character in like 2 minutes, and that's how simplified he ended up becoming. In terms of like breaking down what you should or shouldn't do. Like that's how easy it was. But yeah, it was cool that he was brought in though, because everyone wanted Sagat, and that was really cool to us. And it was once again more proof that like Street Fighter, like Champion Edition Season 3, was like a big like step forward or a redemption arc for Street Fighter 5. So we're thinking, what can be next? Well, you can play this character. You can go home and pray. Home or the room or the living room. Please hurry up and go pray today. Home or the room or the living room. Please pray and try. Kage! Kage. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. When this character was revealed, ooh, I was ecstatic. I was really damn happy this character got revealed. Because, like, I've always been like a Ryu person, but if Evil Ryu is available, then like I play him first and foremost over regular Ryu. That's how I am with me. I'm like I've always preferred his playstyle much more. The higher damage, more mixed up stuff. in exchange for some like lower health kind of thing. That's what always is for me. The only times I don't play Evil Ryu compared to regular Ryu is when like Evil Ryu's banned. So like I can't play him in CVS2 or I can't play him in like Ultra Street Fighter 2 or shit like that. Granted, nobody plays Ultra SF2, bastards. Uh, so Kage, he was added to Street Fighter 5 to start off season 4, and the thing about it, what makes me, it's unfortunate though that the character got leaked, like within like not even a few hours before he got officially shown. So like we all knew he was coming before he got shown at the end of Capcom Cup. So that's a little bit unfortunate. His theme kind of sucks, but overall though, like this is probably the second best Shoto in the game, at least in my opinion, which isn't saying much because like the gap between him to Goki is like kind of large. But he's a fun character, very strong, hits like a truck. Oh my god, this character hits hard. But I mean that's to be expected because he's based mostly off of Street Fighter 4's Evil Ryu, who also hit really hard. So it makes sense. I don't like his Tatsu though. I really don't like his Tatsu. Like how it looks and how it comes out, and it's really like awkward to time getting the sure you can like follow up afterwards. I don't know. I find that weird to me personally. That's just me. But everything else about him, it's kind of cool. It's kind of funny that people kind of look down like, what is this, Shin Dan? Because a lot of his moves are similar to Dan more so than Ryu. But yeah, he's a really cool character. Kage is really fun. I don't like the underbite though. The horns thing I can kind of ignore, but like that shit, I don't like that. I don't like the underbite. Can we take that away? Can we get an Evil Ryu costume that takes that away, please? I'll pay for it. I'll pay money for that. I don't give a shit. I don't even play this guy anymore, but I'll still pay for it just to get rid of that stuff. It just looks so dumb to me. Like, I play the Asura costume more often than anything because I think it gets rid of it. I think. Don't quote me. Oh yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, boy. SF free, baby. Motherfucker. Okay, never mind. I'm wrong. He still has the underbite. I just looked that up right now. Let's go to the. Let's go to. Check out now. Street Fighter 3. Anyway, so yeah, Kage was cool. Good addition. He was a start of season 4, and what was really weird was that after he came out, there was a long period of time till we heard anything else about season 4. The rest of it, they said they were gonna do things differently, but we thought they were just gonna like a little bit things here and there. But then it was like months of nothing. And then we got our next characters. Out of nowhere, a leak came out of the next 3 characters. And first one of them was Honda. So in this sense, the World Warriors, the original 8, were all together finally, which is good. This character is really strong from what I'm seeing. From what I've seen, he's pretty strong. One of the biggest things about it is the fact that Headbutt, I think it goes through fireballs now, which I think is bullshit. Like, that was one of the biggest things that we could do how to fight against him, is we can fireball you when you try to headbutt us, and then you use your EX1 to go through us. Like, you know what I mean? That, like, exchange thing. Equivalent exchange. Now he's just like, and we just die. We just take damage. On top of his other, like, aspects that makes him really good, the usual Honda stuff. So he's a really good character, really strong. But, it's Honda doing Honda things, honestly speaking. Not much to say. It's just nice that he's back. If that makes any sense. So, next character. And I'll get to the last, like the actual new character per se last. So the next character was Poison. They all came out at the same time. All these 3 all came out at the same time, so it's kind of weird that I'm saying next character when they all got released at the same exact time. I think during Evo, like, they came out, Don't quote me. I forget exactly when, but yeah. So Poison was the next character, and she comes from Final Fight once again, but she was in Street Fighter 4, which was kind of cool to us. But the way she plays in this one was very different than how she was in Street Fighter 4. In Street Fighter 4, she was kind of like a weird rushdown Rekka character with some fireball stuff. And then this game, she was straight up like a zoner. Like she's more similar to Whip from King of Fighters than she is to like her other way she was in Street Fighter 4. So she keeps you away. She's hitting you with the whip from far away, zoning you out, throw Molotov cocktails, things like that, swinging, web swing, shit like that. It's kind of cool. Really frustrating character to deal with, but very strong character overall. Really good character. I don't have much experience against her. Around the time when this character came out, like when the season 4 stuff started coming out, I kind of started focusing on our games more so than this one, so I didn't play very much of it. I think I was playing Smash Ultimate a lot more. That's the thing about it. So I wasn't focusing on Street Fighter 5 per se very much. But very cool character. It's cool she's back. She got some really nice costumes as well. But then came. Do I have? Yeah, I do. Okay. This character surprised me. Lucia from Final Fight 3 on the Super Famicom, or Final Fight Tough, or Final Fight 3 for Super Nintendo / Super Famicom. This character surprised me because like I always wanted Lucia to be in like a something outside Final Fight 3. This character was so cool. Like let me try and find some art with her from Final Fight 3 because what made me like her was her original look. So let me try to find it. Fuck, where's some good artwork of her? Shit. I'm sorry. I'm bad. Okay, I guess we'll go with this one. Alright. Alright, I got some artwork. Okay, so image. Alright, so like compare it to, like this is how she used to look in Final Fight 3, like her artwork from that game, and like yeah, it's a bit much. Like it's a pretty, but that was the '90s for you. Let's put it that way. That's how character design a lot of times was back then for like tough brawler type characters. Look at Tifa, for example, very similar kind of thing, but or Jill Valentine and so on. So like I like this character a lot. Granted, I still played Guy when I played this game, but the character herself was really cool. She had a lot of cool moves, like her full fire gimmick and things like that. That was cool to me. But she never ended up being in anything after that. Like Final Fight 2 and Final Fight 3 kind of got left to the dust when it comes to like the overall sphere. It was a surprise to us back in the day when Maki was put in CVS2, then Alpha 3 Max. But like that was like what? They brought back Maki? Wow, that's so cool. And they like adapted her to be even more like tough, like a big, massive, like biker tomboy character, and that was fucking cool. So then they're like, yeah. So now they did this again with Lucia. They redesigned her here, this cop look, like more like proper cop look. Then obviously they have this one here as like an alternate costume too, obviously speaking. But it was cool to see this character come back. But unfortunately, she ended up taking away someone else in a way. Like her basic design, like how she fights and everything, more or less invalidated Ken. Like if you like the way how Ken is as a character, like what he is or what he goes for, that like rush down, mix uppy, kind of like stylish way of playing, there was no reason to play him once Lucia came out. Shut up, ads. So yeah, there was no reason to play Lucia. There was no reason to play Ken because Lucia did Ken but better, and she was newer, and like obviously was given more love because she's paid DLC. So Really good character, very nice rush down stuff, a lot of cool ass moves. She's got that like K dash thing where she can like do a fire burst and then has like options out of the fire thing, like whether it be a fireball or a different move and things like that. She got a lot of cool ass stuff about her. Like really cool character. Something I noticed about like Street Fighter Five was that they started to really like get really creative with their character designs and like what they can and can't do. So that's cool. And that was like we thought that was like the end of like season 4, and then uh, they revealed to us Street Fighter Five Champion Edition and how they started that off. Like the theming of it was like the like a sort of like blue red design to it. The first character they revealed for that was Guile from Street Fighter 3, the final boss, who was being shown a lot during like the story stuff for Street Fighter for SF5. We kind of knew he was coming in a way because they were showing so much of him throughout like the promotion and story stuff for Street Fighter 5. We're like, oh, they're gonna put Guile sooner or later, right? And then they did. What is kind of weird to me is that he came first, and then the next character came afterwards. But I guess it makes sense in terms of what they ended up doing with the next character. Why? But I'm just saying. So Guile comes out. His character is very immediately really strong, really really strong. A lot of creativity and stuff you can do with him. The funny thing about it is that he has no crush counters. His main thing is they call it retribution, where if the opponent is like placed on fire or encased in ice, if you use the opposite move, they got hit by a unique like hit stun situation called retribution, where you could do even more combo and damage off that, and so on and so forth. And you could chain multiple retributions into each other if you have the meter or you have the resources for it, and you know how your routes go. So you can have some long, high damaging combos with this character. And he's very very powerful, very intimidating to deal with. Ooh, you can't just sleep on this guy. He's very he puts a presence on you when he's in your face. Like he's very very strong. So Guile was very very good. A good way to cap things off for there. It's just to start off Champion Edition. As well as having V Skill 2s also got added to the game. And then the final character for season 4 to cap things off for that season, Seth. First things off, I gotta say, I am honestly confused about this redesign. I don't know. I personally find it just weird, especially when he still has like the deep like male like Seth voice. It's a bit weird to me. It's funny, but it's also like okay. But what's kind of funny to me is that like he's not exactly how he was in Street Fighter 4. Like I kind of knew he was gonna sooner or later be in the game, but like it's kind of funny that he's not exactly how he was in Street Fighter 4. He's very very different. He's got a few moves that are from there, but overall very very different. He takes even more attacks from other characters, which is kind of cool. From like other games, he's even got moves from like outside of like Street Fighter. He's got like Darkstalker's moves and stuff like that too, which is kind of cool. But 1 second. His main big gimmick was the fact that one of his V skills, he does like the the vacuum move. I forget the move name, but like the vacuum move where he sucks you in. When he goes, and you get sucked in. He does that move, but he can choose to then take a power from you and use it himself too. So I guess in a way that was a lot of dev work to be able to do that, and a lot of voice work too, where that he has like his own special moves. On top of the fact that when he sucks up a move from someone, including himself, he gets an additional move from that. He has an extra special move from all 40 characters. So in a way, that was like them capping off that like this is the end of this season. he has everybody's moves and things like that too. So that was really cool. Character viability wise, this character came out amazing, and he's still really good. Like this character is really really good. One of the top characters in the game. Very hard to use at times because you gotta really think about what you can or can't do. But overall, this character is very strong, and that's how they ended off the season. I already spoke in the past about what they showed for season 5 in terms of the character reveals so far. Overall, very happy with that. But this was how they ended off the season for season 4 for Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition. And oh man, looking back from the beginning to now, it's like there were some highs, there were some massive lows. Overall sense, honestly speaking, at least you ask me, pretty good. When I look at a lot of characters here and there, a lot of really good choices, a lot of fun characters, a lot of good picks. They ended up staying pretty good overall, especially during the later half. Like if you ask me, like season 3, season 4, it's like almost all of its hits. It's only like I think, in my opinion, like 2 misses, and that was Falk and Sagat, shockingly, for the latter. But everything else in season 3 was great. Season 4, all the characters are good and all like good picks and good fun characters. And now season 5, looking like it's gonna be that once again. Every character in season 5 looks great. Like I'm really happy about every single choice in that. Let alone who that next, because they didn't show us the last one, the 5th character. Who knows what that's gonna be? But granted, I'm just sitting there going like, when's Akira? When's Akira? When's Akira? I want that character. I mean, we know a rough estimate when she's coming out, but that's all I want. I just want to play Akira. But yeah, that's my retrospective on Street Fighter V's character DLC release from the beginning to the end. Overall, I think it was pretty good, and we can only hope that things keep going. With the way how the direction of the game is showing, from what we've seen, and like the new people in charge showing their faces and everything, it's looking like we're heading in a good direction. Like we're going in a good direction for both Street Fighter Five and possibly the rest of like Capcom fighting games as a whole. We're potentially, because that was the one thing about Capcom in recent years, that everything else about them had been like stellar, some of their best work in years, and then their fighting games were like, but now I think we're heading back. We're heading into the realm where their fighting game division is now joining the ranks of the rest of their amazing work portfolio from like these recent years. So things are only looking up. Thanks you guys for watching this little. If you, for those who are over here watching this whole time from like over an hour now almost, me going through this, like wow, it's almost an hour and a half just talking about Street Fighter 5. But yeah, thank you for everyone who listened to this, and honestly, I don't know what else to do with this.